Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Talking Ball podcast. My name is Jack and I am joined by Keaton. How are you, Keaton?
Hello, everybody. I am okay today. We got some bad news, but we're working with it, so I'm all right.
Yeah, that's
Glad to
okay.
be talking ball.
Yeah, as Thunder fans, it was not the best day in terms of news. We did get a Thunder preseason win tonight, but we also got some injury news with Isaiah Hartenstein fracturing his hand. Um, and we will talk more about that later. But first, let's talk about the game that happened tonight. The Thunder beat the Atlanta Hawks tonight by what, five or something like that? Yeah.
Something. I don't have it up.
I was at the game. It was a fun time, but I left after the third quarter because I've had my fair share of watching our G Leaguers play in the preseason, and so once we put in um, that Flagler, Dukas, Jang, Mitchell, Jones lineup, I knew it was gonna be the whole fourth quarter like that, and I didn't really care about the outcome of a preseason game, so I just figured I'd rather go home and watch my Denver Broncos finish out the dub on primetime football. But it was a fun time. It was fun to see our main players for the first half, and then some of our role players played in the third quarter. But um, I think Chet had a really good game. He was really aggressive tonight and finished a lot better. And man, I think he can have a really great offensive season.
Yeah. Chet was really efficient tonight, and that's what we want to see. Also aggressive getting to the rim, aggressive getting to the free throw line. Those are all things that we love to see from him, and all improvements that I think he's made to his game over the summer. So
Yeah,
really like what I saw from Chet.
yeah. The Hawks stayed in that game with their bench guys against our starters, but I wouldn't read too much into that. I think I don't know. It seemed like guys like Shea were kind of a little more conservative tonight. I think he only took like three shots. Two of them were made threes. But I just wouldn't read too much into preseason in general. But overall, I'm just really excited for the regular seasons to start. I'm kind of done with the preseason, which is a good thing, I guess, that the preseason is over now. But we went 4-1 in the preseason, so that's nice, I guess. The main story of tonight, though, was J-Dub left the game early with an ankle sprain. It's hard to tell in the preseason with injuries that happen in game because it's like no matter what, you're not going to bring a player back in the game, even if they're fine, just because there's no need to risk it in the preseason. So, of course, he didn't come back with that ankle sprain. Um, but I hope it's nothing too serious. I guess the good news is it's like how bad can an ankle sprain really be? I don't know. I don't think that's like a multiple month long thing, even if it's a terrible ankle sprain. Um, but it still sucks just having guys getting hurt in the preseason in games that don't really matter. So I hope that was just a precautionary thing, and I hope he can um, come back ready to go on opening night. I know J-Dub's had a little history with ankle sprains. I know he had one at the end of last season, but maybe he needs to start wearing those ankle guards that like Steph Curry wears and stuff. But yeah, hope he's okay. What else did you see from the game tonight?
Yeah, I also just really liked what I saw again from Isaiah Joe. He didn't play very many minutes. He played in 16 minutes, but I just saw another game where he was willing to let the ball fly. And he put up 8 3-pointers in 16 minutes. That's two, th or that's one 3-point attempt every 2 minutes. At that rate, he's going to be shooting a lot. So, and tonight he shot at a 50% clip from behind the arc. So if he's shooting at a 50% clip, man, we'll let him shoot every time down the court. But, um, you know, in reality, that's just really good of him to get that volume up while keeping that efficiency where it needs to be. So another really good game from him. I think he's one of the players that's really benefited from this preseason. You know, he started a little slower getting that shot to fall the first two to three games. Or sorry, not three games. Nobody played in Tulsa. But the first two games he kind of struggled, and then these last two games he's really kind of taken control of the game. So I really liked what I saw from him. I mean, you know, we can talk about Dylan Jones. Dylan Jones is a guy that just continues to impress. You know, he didn't shoot the ball that well tonight, 2 of 9, but he still came away with 6 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Um, on top of that, he had 4 steals, and a block.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it's rare to see a guy drafted in the late first round like that that's just going to stuff the stat sheet day one like he does. So I think that that's very valuable. I really liked what I saw from him. But yeah, let's get into um, some of the other players here. I really liked what I saw from Jang tonight too. I thought that he had another pretty good step forward. You know, the stats he had 15 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, on a relatively efficient scoring night. Like, what did you see from him tonight?
Yeah, I thought he was more aggressive tonight. A lot of guys were pretty aggressive tonight. Dylan Jones, like you said, was really aggressive tonight. But the main thing that we've thought that Oos has been lacking was that aggression, and he's been pretty passive. But I think tonight he looked better in those areas. And except there was one point he had a fast break, and there was like one guy to beat, and instead of just going to the rim and taking the finish, he like paused midair and tried to kick it back out to someone on the 3-point line, but it ended up just going to the other team. So times like that, I'm like, just finish at the rim, be aggressive, it's okay. But in general tonight, he um, was more aggressive than he usually is. So um, I mean. I think a lot of people were ready to give up on him, but at this point, he might be playing some rotation minutes toward the beginning of the year. So he'll actually um, have an opportunity to contribute. So I'm excited to see what he can do in those real minutes. Speaking of that, we got the iHeart news today, and I could tell a difference watching the game tonight. Just not having that big body out there. Um, we struggled getting rebounds more than we have the rest of the preseason. And I think that's the main area that we'll see a difference with iHeart versus without him. Um, I mean, there were times like when Chet's not on the court, who's our biggest guy going to be out there? Especially if Jay Will and Kenrich are not ready to go at the beginning of the year. Um, there were times when J-Dub was our biggest guy on the court. There were times when Dort might have been the center. There were times when Dylan Jones at 6'5" was our center. Um, so it'll just be interesting. I mean, all of last year we kind of were able to scoot by without being a great rebounding team. So we'll kind of have to be forced to figure out how to do that again here early in the year. Um, But yeah, guys like Usman Jang and Dylan Jones, it's kind of encouraging to see them do well tonight just because I know that there will be a rotation spot for them early in the year, assuming the Williamses aren't ready. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we can um, recover from our lack of size given that injury. But final thoughts about today's game. Um, I think we played really well defensively with our main guys out there. Um, the rookies continue to look pretty good. And like you said, I think Isaiah Joe was the best player out there tonight. Um, there were just some lineups we threw out there. I was like, this just is crazy that we can put these lineups of a combination of some of the league's best defenders out there all on the court together. Like Caruso, Dort, and Wallace all played together at one point with J-Dub and Shea, and then I think at another point with Chet and Shea, and it's just like this might be some of the best defensive lineups any team has ever been able to put together. So I'm excited to see how they can execute throughout the year. Um, and there's just so much creativity that we can put together with different lineups because of all the different pieces we have on our team. So um, that's super exciting.
Yeah. Um, I guess another thing that I'll add, um, is we saw tonight a continuation of what we've been talking about with Shea, just the confidence from behind the arc. Um, Also, he had a really nice catch and shoot three in the corner, which like Shea's not really known to be a really efficient like catch and shoot kind of guy. He's more of a create for himself. But I mean, it's just those little things that if he can get more efficient at and add that to his game, like it's scary to think about the possibilities. So I was really impressed with him tonight, but that's kind of my last thought on the game.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a player of the game tonight?
Oh yeah. Gosh, my player of the game is probably going to be Isaiah Joe 2 games in a row just because I called upon him the first 2 games and said, Joe, like, let's use this time to figure it out. And he has completely responded to that. So,
He heard
uh,
you. He heard you.
yeah. Joe is a listener of the Talkin' Ball pod.
I'll give mine to Chet tonight. He looked really nice. And there were some shots I was like crazy that a 7-footer's doing stuff like this. And his ability to finish at the rim and defend was pretty impressive too. Shout out Kobe Buffkin also.
Shout out to Talkin', yeah.
At halftime, I looked at the up at the scoreboard. I was like, he has 18 points. And my friend I was with, he was like, I'll bet you money that they just got that wrong up there. And then we looked it up and he had 18 points at halftime. So shout out Buffkin. Now I know we touched on the Hartenstein injury a little bit, um, but that is significant news and it's a bummer. He'll be out, what was it, 5 to 6 weeks? Yeah, with that broken hand. That puts him best case scenario around the end of November. Um, so that's probably 20-ish games minimum that he'll miss. I would guess maybe slightly under that if things go well. But that's just tough. I know, like all summer we've talked about, oh, this team adding the best free agent ever, and just the size we needed, and the rebounding is solved, and now it's like, well, we're gonna have to wait for that. So yeah, we got a little taste of it in the preseason when it didn't really matter, but um, I mean, I guess. It just makes us even more excited for when he does make his regular season debut with us. But it is unfortunate. The good thing about our team is we are a very deep team. But without him, we do lack some size. We have like competent NBA players that can come in and fill the minutes, but um, I think it does make a big difference whether we have his big frame out there and the different skill sets he brings. So what are your first thoughts about losing iHeart for that amount of time?
Yeah, like you said, huge bummer, huge bummer. But here are some thoughts I have on it. Because while this injury is like devastating and a huge letdown, like adding Caruso was like a direct replacement of Giddy, and Hartenstein was a free agency pickup. Like you could say he was a replacement of Gordo, but Gordo didn't really bring anything to the table. So what I'm getting at here is being without Hartenstein, I don't necessarily think is going to like it's not like we're going to be bad by any means. Like I think we'll be even better than we were last year just with the addition of Caruso. And then when Hartenstein gets plugged back in eventually, then we'll be really good. But so that's my initial thought. Here's where I think the Thunder could be a little bit in trouble, and I'm not saying that, this is like they're gonna, you know, flail around and lose a bunch of games early, but um is the depth. Right now, the Williamses are hurt. And Kenrich and Jay Will are really our big man depth, like because we play Kenny as a small ball five sometimes. And like you were saying, who's the biggest guy now when Chet's off the court? Um, so when I think of the implications of this injury, I think who is going to step in and while Jay Will and Kenny are out? Because I don't think Jay Will should be out for very much longer, and then maybe Kenny will be back soon too. But in these early games, when we're playing against Jokic and the Nuggets, like who's going to be Chet's relief? And a guy that I'm okay, this is crazy, and I wouldn't have thought that I would say this a few weeks ago, but a guy that I genuinely think could step in, and I'm not saying be the main guy, but be a guy that could give the Thunder good minutes in this area, is Dukas. Alex Dukas, 6'7", 220 pounds. He 6'7", not the biggest guy out like in the world, but he does have a big frame and a physical play style. I think he could give the Thunder a spark at the small ball five, and I see him as one of our more viable options. Like, you could say like Jang, he's obviously taller, but he's not really the most physical defender. And that's one of the things that's impressed me the most about Dugas is he has been a physical defender. So I don't know if that's the route that they're gonna go, but I would not be surprised by any means given the options. Like, um, another thought that I had is the open roster spot. They could technically utilize that. I doubt that's the direction they go, but it's an option. Um,
Bring Biombo back.
right. Like give a call to Bismack. Tell him, hey man, we made you a movie. Can you come give us 2 weeks?
Give us
And
boards.
yeah, I mean, um, so that's my main thought is right now without the Williamses, we're really thin in that spot. But if you just look at the injury of Hartenstein, it's not necessarily going to devastate this team as far as uh, accruing a bunch of losses, as much as we're just not going to be at our ceiling of what this team can be until he's back. Um, Obviously a huge loss.
Right. Like you said, like assuming Kenrich, Jalen Williams all are like good to go fairly soon. Like I'm assuming they'll all be back before Hartenstein, like well before Hartenstein. Assuming that, it's pretty much our team from last year with Caruso instead of Giddy. Now, Caruso instead of Giddy makes our team much better in general. However, I think it makes us a worse rebounding team because
Yeah.
Giddy was a top three rebounder for us last year. Just his size for being a guard was really effective when it came to rebound. And we weren't a great rebounding team last year, so I think that's where we're going to struggle early in the year, and that's where his loss will be most felt. Hartenstein's loss, but when he gets back, we should be fine. And assuming assuming the Williamses come back soon, I think we'll be able to stay afloat and still be a great team because um, I mean, like we've been saying, it's pretty similar to last year's team, and they were pretty good. So I think we'll be fine. It'll be nice when our team is complete and just to see how good they can be at full strength.
Yeah. I would also like to kind of mention, uh, while these injuries are devastating and it might feel like the sky is falling when you see that notification hit, we were extremely lucky last season that we really didn't have any major injuries, and we had a really healthy season last year. And so, um, I feel like you can't always expect for a spotless injury season last year, like the worst injury we had last year was like Shea missed a few games on that road stretch towards the end of the season. Like that was the biggest injury news that I think we had.
Also, if we're
Um,
gonna have an injury, this is like a good time for it to happen. Even though it
right.
sucks right now, it's like better now than even in a week when he'll miss a few extra games, or better now than especially in April or something like that. So, um,
Yeah.
it could be worse. It could be worse. And five to 6 weeks isn't terribly long in the grand scheme of things. Um, so I think we'll be all right. I don't think this affects our whole season outlook too much. Maybe we won't hit that 74 win mark like like we were hoping to, but we'll survive. It'll be all right.
And also like Hartenstein uh, fracturing his finger in a way that doesn't require surgery is huge because out of all the injuries, this is one of the best like fractures you could possibly have where you're just going to require natural healing and not having to go through the whole surgery and recovery process and that stuff. So like, technically his recovery process starts now rather than if you have surgery, you got to go through all of those hurdles. So uh looking through the uh crappiness of it, and you can find some silver lining of saying, okay, it's we don't have it so bad. I mean, especially like considering 2 years ago when a little before this time 2 years ago when we got the Chet injury news. Um I remember how devastated I was, and that is 10 times worse than this injury news. So um we'll miss Hartenstein, but we're glad that we're going to be able to get him back.
Yeah, yeah, not too bad. But definitely a bummer. I mean, one thing that makes it a bummer is just one pro of signing Hartenstein was just to kind of lighten Chet's load, and so I think he's probably gonna be a little worn down after this stretch where we don't have a lot of big man depth. But um, hopefully, maybe we can rest him some games or something when we're back to full strength. Or
Yeah, like, and we got to protect him at all costs
right.
because we're talking about how thin we are at the big man spot. Um, we can't afford for Chet to go down. We can't. And if something like that were to happen, I guarantee you that extra roster spots being used on somebody on a temporary deal because we are teeny tiny without Chet.
If only Sar didn't get hurt.
Yeah, true. Like he would actually be really beneficial for us right now.
All right, one more injury we'll touch on here. Not a Thunder injury, but related to the Thunder. Shams Charania today tweeted, Los Angeles Clippers star Kawhi Leonard is expected to be sidelined for an indefinite period of time to start the NBA season as he rehabilitates the inflammation in his right knee. It's just crazy at this point, just that injuries with Kawhi are kind of a given. Um, I mean, the first thought, obviously, my mind jumps to how we own their pick, but also you just got to feel for Kawhi. I mean, it's gotta be tough just constantly not being able to get on the court like this. And so um hope he can come back and get to play some this year. But as a Thunder fan, it sounds like the Clippers are not going to be a playoff team this year and may not be very good, which is good for the Thunder because we own their unprotected first round pick, and this is a pretty good draft. So it is exciting whenever you hear that the Clippers may not be as good, just in the sense of that. Um, so, but we do feel for Kawhi at the same time.
Yeah, like I think when Kawhi is at his healthiest and playing well, like I think he's one of my favorite players in the league to watch, just how good he is on both sides of the floor. Um, and as Thunder fans, we and as basketball fans in general, we hate to see anybody hurt. But yeah, we hate to see Kawhi hurt. But as Thunder fans, we hope that he takes care of himself in a very long recovery and make sure that he's fully healthy before he ever returns next year. So, no, but I do think that their situation is like dumpster right now. And then I saw this on Twitter today. But they are like one more injury, like a James Harden injury, which he hasn't uh he's not immune to injury. Um, but they're like a James Harden injury or somebody else away from being dumpster fire. So, um, like I don't necessarily think without Kawhi that this team is like going to be right down there with the worst of the East by any means. But
And
it's
be near the bottom of the West, though. So,
right. It's not out of the realm of possibility to be in the bottom of the West. Uh, depending on how long Kawhi's out. And I could see this being one of the situations that it just uh, keeps getting postponed and postponed his return. So you do feel for him though.
all right, we're gonna move on here to answer your guys' Twitter questions that you gave us the other day. Um, or this was like last week at this point. Let me find them here.
I'll pull up some too.
You guys gave us some questions. Okay, here we go. Um, how terrified are you for Clay with the Mavs? That's a question from Tucker Voiles. Shout out Tucker, first of all. He got married this past Sunday. So that's big for him. Congratulations. He's a good friend of ours. Um, based on what I've seen from Clay in the preseason and the end of his season with the Warriors last year, I'm not terrified at all of Clay. I was more terrified of Derrick Jones Jr. with the Mavs, I would say, because Clay is not shooting well right now. And if he's not shooting well, then what is he? Because he sure is not an effective defender at this point. Derrick Jones Jr. was an effective defender. And now with Clay instead of Derrick Jones Jr., who is guarding anyone on the perimeter for the Mavs? Nobody. And so I just don't know how the Mavs can even stop us defensively. Plus, I'm not worried about Clay on offense right now. So are you terrified of Clay on the Mavs?
No, not at all. I will say like if he can find a 42-43% clip like from behind the arc and just be a floor spacer for Luca, like that's how I'll put this is that's how you could maybe get me frightened is just by the floor spacing that he could provide for Luca. I'm not necessarily scared of Clay, but Luca with floor spacing I think is scary. Um, but Clay has not looked great. He did not look great last year. Um, but I mean Luca's gonna make him better. But I mean Steph is one of the guys that's gonna make you better. So I don't know. Not scared of him, but floor spacing Luca pretty scary. I got the next question here from our friend Jackson Teese. He says, which Thunder player would win the Hunger Games if the entire Thunder roster participated, two ways included?
I have not seen the Hunger Games, but I think I know the general concept. And based on that, I think Lou Dort's going to win.
Whoa.
Lou Dort just seems like the toughest guy. Um, and I think he can survive anywhere.
I think you got homework, man. You haven't seen the Hunger Games. Wow.
Yeah.
Um, which I guess we have talked about that before. I do remember that. Okay, just to be different, because I do agree that Lou Dort would probably win. I'm gonna go Cason Wallace, just because he's another scrappy guy that I feel like, uh, you know. and he looks pretty fast too. So maybe he's even faster than Dort, so he could like get away if he needed to in the Hunger Games. So I'm gonna go Kaysen. Actually, I kind of like that pick, even maybe more than my original Dort pick.
Sure.
Got
Uh,
the
next question. Actually, you ask another one. I lost it here.
Tucker, our friend Tucker says, how did you feel about Josh Giddey's comment on the Bulls Instagram post? Um, Yeah, so if you guys didn't see, I'm sure you probably did if you pay attention on Thunder Twitter, but the Bulls tweeted Giddy happy birthday, and there was a lot of kind of ignorant comments underneath, and Giddy was just like, like, dang, these comments.
Sad face or something.
Right. So I just, I don't know. I think he is human, just like us, and he deserves to um, live his life and be happy. And I think when you have a platform like NBA players do, their, mistakes or allegations or, maybe even rumors. I think when there's rumors circulating around them, it gets put under a magnifying glass and the whole world sees it. And I think internet trolls like to just jump on top of that and attack people at their worst because they can hide behind a screen. Um, so you do feel for him because like we know from the time his time with the Thunder that he's such a good guy, like, and doesn't necessarily deserve to um like amid happy birthday uh tweets to be reading about all these people saying these horrible things about him. So that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. He is a human and we gotta treat him like that because you wouldn't go treat someone like like that. And it's just unfortunate that he's in a spotlight like that. And one rumor gets out and it affects your life for a long time. So I wish people would just give a little grace and move on. So um, I think that what is one aspect of him moving on to a new franchise because us as Thunder fans kind of developed um, like a love for Giddey as a person before any rumors arose or anything like that. So because we knew he was a good guy, when anything came out, we were like, we gave him the benefit of the doubt and still treated him like a good person, even if he made a mistake or not. We don't know what exactly happened, but the Bulls kind of didn't had a different view of him going into it, which was unfortunate. They kind of just knew him as this guy with these rumors surrounding him, and so they kind of treat him like that. Um, so I wish people would just move on, um, but we can move on to our next question. Tucker also said, if you had to kick one starter out of the lineup, who would it be? I guess this is another point about tonight's game. We started Casey Wallace as the fifth guy tonight, which was interesting to see. I think because Caruso was active tonight and we decided to go with Kaysen. I think Mark used the preseason as an opportunity to experiment with different guys as the fifth starter. He went with Caruso one time, Hartenstein one time, and Kaysen one time. And I think probably going into it, he kind of wanted to see what things look like with each of those three guys in the starting lineup. So I guess we don't know who the fifth starter is officially for the season. I don't know if it's going to be matchup based. I don't know if it's going to be consistent night to night. And we were just kind of seeing what we liked best throughout the preseason. But if I had to kick one out of the lineup, I guess it would be the fifth one that we don't know who it is yet.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, I'll play it a little bit differently and say for my sake that the starting lineup in this scenario would be Caruso, Dort, Shea, Dub, Chet, and I'll just say I'm interested in the like in that case, like if I had to pick one, probably taking Caruso out, like you said, that fifth spot and trying something like Wallace or Joe or something and have Caruso come off the bench. But I mean, that's if I had to kick one out. If I had to choose, I'd have Caruso start probably. So, um, I got the next one. It's also from Jackson. Thank you guys for giving us these questions, by the way. Um, how many 31-point games will Shea have this year?
Well, he had 12 last year, which led the league in exactly 31-point games. Um, so I'll go with lower than that this year just because it seemed like such a strange anomaly that he was having so many exactly 31-point games last year. Like
Right.
I don't think he's gonna match that. Um, because that's probably like the most anyone's ever had. I don't know, but I mean, even if you are capable of scoring 31, it's rare to score exactly 31 so consistently. Um, I think he will get 7.
Yeah, I let's go with 6.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to be a worse scorer or anything. I just think maybe he'll get some more 32s and 30-point games instead
Yeah,
of
like maybe he'll have some 40s.
maybe a 50 bomb this year.
I mean, if he's shooting the 3-point shot more effectively, I mean, that's just gonna, I mean, his the sky's the limit for him, man.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. It's like he's already a superstar, one of the best players in the league. If he's also an elite 3-point shooter, like watch out league. Okay,
Well,
last question was from Graham Robinson. If Thunder players were in the Harry Potter world, what houses would they be? Now, I will start off by saying I have not seen any of the Harry Potter movies.
I have not either.
Um, I'm sorry. I'm not the biggest movie guy. I haven't seen a lot of movies. Um, Tucker Voiles responded saying something like Caruso should be in some house.
Yeah, he should be Hufflepuff.
I don't really know what that means, but that sounds good. I guess let me look up real quick. So
So I know a little bit of Harry Potter lore. Like Harry Potter is like Gryffindor, which is kind of like main character vibes. Hufflepuff is kind of like nice guy vibes. There's Slytherin, which is kind of bad guy vibes. There's and then there's Ravenclaw, which um I don't know, seems like kind of miscellaneous vibes.
yeah, here we go. Here's their houses and their values for each house. So Gryffindor's values are bravery, helping others, and chivalry.
Yeah, so that's like main character.
You think anyone falls in there? Um,
Yes. I think you could say like Shay could be Gryffindor.
yeah, I think Chet could be Gryffindor.
Yeah, Chet could be. Like I'm going between like Gryffindor and like Ravenclaw for Chet. Will you read me some Ravenclaw values?
Ravenclaw, intelligence, knowledge, planning ahead, and wit.
All right, so it's like more like I
Uh,
mean he's a student of the game.
yeah,
Like he's probably one of the highest like basketball like students out of all these people. Like he's got the game down.
right. I think Dort could be a Ravenclaw guy. We always hear him talking about how he's studying other players and keeping his notebook of what other players tend to do and watching their film and like he's focusing on the knowledge aspect of it.
Yeah. Will you read some Hufflepuff?
Hufflepuff
Yeah.
is hard work, patience, loyalty, and fair play. That could be Chet. He seems to be a pretty loyal Thunder guy and working harder than anyone else.
Yeah, I think like J-Dub's probably like Gryffindor or Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
What's the Slytherin values?
Slytherin's ambition, cunningness, heritage, and resourcefulness.
I guess you don't have to be a bad guy to be in Slytherin, but it just kind of happens to be kind of the darker house, I think, in the movies or because I have seen some of them, like bits and pieces. I've never like sat down and watched them though. It's just always been like catching it in
I think
different
our
parts.
guys like Kenrich and Jay Will could be Gryffindors. Just I think it takes some bravery to draw some charges like that.
I think J Will would probably be my pick to be like a to be Hufflepuff.
Okay. I think our rookies could be Hufflepuff with hard work, patience, stuff like that. I think
Yeah, like AJ Mitchell was also a guy that I was gonna say is a Hufflepuff. Wiggins could be, gosh, he could be Gryffindor or uh Ravenclaw. I think he'd probably be Gryffindor.
Sure.
I hope we got some Harry Potter fans listening, or else we are rambling.
Yeah,
Um,
as if we have no idea what we're talking about. But I guess
yeah,
like a brief discussion of what house these guys could be in.
yeah, they're probably like, Usman Jang is such a Ravenclaw. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, Usman Jang is probably Hufflepuff. Um,
Sure.
I don't know. If you guys out there are Harry Potter fans and you've got, opinions on this, we'd love to hear them because we are not huge Harry Potter guys. So,
Oh.
um, if you've got opinions, throw them at us.
All right.
Uh,
Thank you guys for the questions. Be
I
sure to
think
ask some more questions next time we ask for them.
Russo might be Ravenclaw.
All right. We're gonna get into this NBA rank for the rest of the rankings. Last time we went over 100 to 51. And just to recap, Hartenstein's 88, Dort's 85, and Caruso's 59. So um, ESPN ranked their top 100 guys of who they think is going to be the best players in the league this coming year. Um, so we'll just kind of talk through the top 50. So same deal as last time. I'm going to start from the bottom and read towards number one. And as we're going, we can already assume Chet, J-Dub, and Shea are going to be in the top 50. So as we're going, you tell me if A, either either Hartenstein, Caruso, or Dort is better than the guy I just said, or B, the guy I just said is better than Chet, J-Dub, or Shea. Okay.
Okay,
Number 50, LaMelo Ball.
that's fine.
I think that's fine. 49 is Aaron Gordon. Um, Now I think LaMelo Ball is better than Aaron Gordon, but
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think as far as Thunder players go, it's probably a fine range.
48 Julius Randle seems low.
Yeah.
I mean, as of right now, he might be better than J-Dub or Chet, but maybe this year they're projecting that J-Dub and Chet will be better. All right, 47 is Evan Mobley.
Okay.
It's fine. 46 Kristaps Porzingis.
Okay. Like I don't know about Porzingis. Like it'll be interesting to see if he's just right back to where he was after that injury. So,
45 is DeRozan.
uh, no, I don't necessarily like. I think you could probably slide him back a few. I think these people that we've named before him, I'd probably give the edge over DeRozan.
44 J-Dub.
Okay.
I think he's better than everyone we've said so far.
Yeah.
Um, Last year he was 95, so cool to see him make that jump. Um, okay, now you tell me if you think J-Dub's better than the people we're talking about. 43 is DeJounte Murray. That's close.
Uh,
Oh.
yeah. Right now, I'd probably give the edge to DeJounte, I guess. But
42 is Pascal Siakam.
okay.
Seems 41 James Harden.
James Harden.
He's gonna kind of be the guy over there, so
Yeah, he's gonna get unlimited shots.
yeah, that's fine. Okay, 40 is Brandon Ingram.
I don't know. I think I'm biased though from seeing what Dort did to him in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think he's still a better player than J-Dub.
Yeah.
39 Derek White. Nah, I don't know. Sure.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion on that.
38 Mikal Bridges.
Okay, yeah.
That's fair. 37 Trey Young. Feels low for Trey.
It does feel low.
Last year he was 27.
Yeah, I wonder who they're gonna have
He'll
ahead of him.
sleep on Trey. 36, Drew Holiday.
I just wonder, like, because I do think Derek White and Drew Holiday are great players, of course, but like, does the Celtics winning a championship like put like the bias put these guys way ahead of like guys like Caruso? I don't know. Like, I don't feel like the gap between Derek White and Caruso. I don't know if I'm crazy, but I just don't think it's like how big it is in this list. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. 35 is Scotty Barnes. Feels fine.
Yeah.
Um, 34, Rudy Gobert.
Okay.
33 is Laurie Markkinen.
Gosh, I mean, this makes me realize how many great players there are in the league.
It's a deep league. 32 is Chet.
32 is Chet. Wow. Yeah, I feel like I'm happy that he's there.
Last year he was 73, but that was before he had played an NBA game. So now you tell me if Chet or J-Dub's better than the guy I said. 31, Jamal Murray.
Like, yeah, I probably give the edge to Chet, but
Jamal Murray's been bad.
yeah, like
Also,
I feel like he's been regressing.
I'll take both of our guys over him.
Yeah,
Uh,
now he was really good in the playoffs, but like he just hasn't had a great summer.
30, Cat. That's fair.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
29, Sabonis. I think he should be higher.
Yeah, I would agree.
28, Jimmy Butler.
Okay. Yeah,
That's fine to have him over our guys. 27, Zion. You just never know with injuries. When he plays, he's amazing.
right.
26, Fox. Think he's
Fair.
better than our guys. 25 is Kyrie. That's a fine spot, I think. 24 is Paolo.
It's fair.
23 is Damian Lillard. Honestly,
Yeah.
this list has been better than
Right. Yeah, I don't
other
have
other lists I've seen going around, like Charles Barkley's dumb list.
yeah, Charles Barkley should stay away from lists.
That was terrible. That's not even worth discussing on this show. Okay, 22 Kawhi Leonard. You just never know with him. When
Yeah,
he
I mean I don't know. Like I guess after indefinitely he might be good.
when he plays, he's great. Okay, 21 Paul George.
It's kind of funny and they give Paul George like the one edge the guy he left.
You're slightly less injured. Okay, 20 John Morant. I mean, if he's a good boy,
Yeah.
he's a top
You
20 player.
can put the guns away.
19 Tyrese Maxey.
Wow. I mean, Maxey had a great season last year, so maybe he can keep that up. Pretty good trajectory there.
I might put him a few spots lower. I think I'd take guys like Jaw and PG, maybe. That's very close. I don't know. I
Yeah,
only
it's
looked.
all close. Like all of these are really close.
Yeah. 18 is Bam. That's that's good.
Yeah.
Is he the I don't know how many people would say he's the best player on the Heat though, because Jimmy was 28.
Yeah. I think I would say Bam's the best player on the Heat.
Okay. 17 Donovan Mitchell. It's fine. We'll see who's above him. 16's Tyrese Halliburton.
Um, I think I would have him probably a few spots lower. Um, I I don't know if yeah, like I think I'd probably this might be crazy, but like I like a guy like I think I'd put him behind PG. Now, I will say that Halliburton is extremely valuable for like stuff that's not the flashiest, which is like assists. Like, um, that's super valuable. So maybe for that aspect, he's in a good spot.
Yeah. Okay, 15 is Devin Booker. It's fine.
Yeah.
14, Jaylen Brown. Championship boost, maybe. But
Right. I think that's an extreme championship boost. I think he's a great player, but I don't necessarily think that's a great spot.
I would take some of these other guys ahead of him. 13's AD. It's fine. 12's Jalen Brunson.
Um, Great player, maybe slide him down a few spots.
I disagree. I think that's good for Jalen and maybe even better than some of the guys ahead of him.
Like I would take Anthony Davis over Jalen Brunson, but I mean, I guess I'm not. I guess this list is not like who you're going to start a franchise with, which I would take Jalen Brunson in that instance. But
I mean, Jalen was great in the playoffs. He was a top five MVP candidate, and I think he's due for another great season.
yeah, I guess on the projection aspect too, maybe.
Now, 11 is Wimby. I think that's a little crazy. That's very crazy, in my opinion. I don't think
Uh,
he's not better than Jalen Brunson or Anthony Davis or Jalen Brown or Devin Booker or Tyrese Halliburton or Donovan Mitchell or Bam or Tyrese Maxey or John Morant or Paul George or Kawhi Leonard or Damian Lillard or Paulo Banchero. Maybe even De'Aaron Fox and Zion and Jimmy
yeah,
Butler and
I think
Demonta Silva. I'll put Wimby at 30, maybe.
this is like it's where are you putting your eggs? Like, are you putting them in the basket of Wimby's untapped defensive potential, or like why are they putting him this high? Like, because when you're talking about like a complete player, he's not quite there yet. Like he's for sure got all the potential in the world, but right now he's just not very efficient. And that's a huge part of it. Like if you're talking about who I would rather have on my team for this next year as far as like efficiency, scoring, and defense combined, like I don't think you're too crazy if you were to say that you think Chet might be overall the better player next year. Like I don't think that that's crazy. Um, yeah, I don't think that's crazy at all. I think he definitely has steps to take on offense. I think he's going to be a great player, but I think 11 is a little rich.
11's insane. Let's just hold our horses on Wimby, okay? Everyone's saying he's going to be one of the best players ever, but let's wait till he is that before we give him that, okay? Like, rank him where he is right now. Like, he's all of last year, there were Chet Wimby conversations, and now you're ranking Wimby 11 and Chet 32. Like, that just doesn't make sense. And he's over all of these proven superstars, and he hasn't done anything to prove that he is on that level yet. Now he's shown flashes that he can be like even better than all of these people, but he's not there yet. He's an amazing player, but you're right, he's just not as efficient, and he's a young player with room to grow, as most young players are. But to put him over guys that have proven they can win championships and be the best player on their teams and win awards for 10 years, stuff like that. I think it's just a little crazy, a lot crazy. But number 10 is Anthony Edwards. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, no thoughts. Like that's fine.
Nine, Kevin Durant,
Oh, does this go all the way to one?
all the way to one.
Oh, I didn't realize they released the rest of it. I was going to try to keep track of who I thought was the remaining and like what order they could be in. Um, yeah, Kevin Durant, that's a good spot for him.
Eight, Embiid, and I guess. Seven's LeBron.
I would like to say how crazy because I agree. Like LeBron deserves to be there. How crazy is that though? That this man turns 40 in December and he is top seven in the league.
Yeah. I mean, if you asked someone 5 years ago, they probably would have thought LeBron would have taken a huge fall off by now, or not even be playing. So,
Right. Like a normal human.
right.
It's crazy. So anyway, like I'm not like a huge like I'm not I don't have LeBron jerseys in my closet, but I am a basketball fan enough to say hats off to LeBron there.
6 is Steph.
Yeah, and the same goes to Steph. Like he's not as old, but like kudos.
5 is Jason Tatum. I think all the Celtics got a little championship boost. 5 might be a little high.
Yeah, can I say that Tatum should not be there at all?
I mean, I
He
think
like
most people would say Embiid and Edwards are better players than Tatum.
right, and I think yeah, like I think a lot of these Celtics have gotten extreme championship boosts. Um, like Tatum is a great player, but I don't think that he's better than some of these players that we've talked about.
Yeah. Then 4 is Shea. He was 8
Okay.
last year, so I appreciate that they ranked him up with where he belongs as a two-time MVP finalist. But above him is Giannis 3, Luka 2, and Jokic 1. Um, so you can kind of interchange those four, I guess, a little bit. But I think most people would agree that those are the top four guys right now.
Yeah, like I mean, you can't go wrong with any of these guys. They're amazing. Feel like ever since we got to like 30 something, like we've been talking about straight heaters.
Yeah, like you had all NBA guys in the 30s. You had guys that you can make an argument for making an all-star team in the 40s and 50s. Like we just we're in the age of the deepest the league has ever been. So overall, I think that was a fine ranking. I appreciate the Thunder love, and I think they did a fine job on ranking most of the Thunder players. Um, so we can wrap up today's episode with our player rankings. Um, just two more times we're doing this. But if you have not been here before, at the end of each episode, we rank Thunder players of the past on 5 categories: stats, impact on winning, personal opinion, longevity, and culture. They get a score out of 10 on each of those categories, giving them an average score out of 10. Then we will have a list of all the best players in Thunder history from best to worst. So today we are going over these 7 players from the 2009-2010 season. Like we've said in the past, we're kind of to the I don't really remember them playing for the Thunder range. So we're going to go based off of what we've heard of them and just the eye test of the stats. So our first, I already filled in longevity ratings just based on what we've given other players that we've already ranked. So um, for Antonio Anderson, he played 1 game. He played 15 minutes in that game and scored 2 points and 1 rebound. Nothing else. Shot 1 for 3. I'm going to give those stats a point 0.5. I'm going to give his impact on winning a point 0.5. Personal opinion, don't really know who he is, so I'll give him a 2. Oh, never mind. We've given these bums zeros, so I'll give him a 0 on stats and impact on winning. Personal opinion is 2. Longevity, 0.5. Culture, I'll give him a 3.5, like I do with most players I've never heard of.
We've got breaking news here.
Okay, let's hear it.
Dalton Connect scores 35 points on the Phoenix Suns tonight, scoring
Whoa.
20 of the last Lakers' 22 points in overtime.
I will need to check that out.
Yeah, me
Watch
too.
out, NBA.
So, shout out Dalton Connect for making it on the Talkin' Ball podcast. I'm sure that that is your proudest accomplishment. All right. Yes, we are officially in. Keaton was way too young to remember not only these players, but I don't honestly know if I knew the Thunder existed. Um, when I was 8. Um, So anyway, here we go. Here goes nothing, Ryan. Stats. So Ryan played in one game as well. He played in less minutes than Antonio Anderson. However, he did shoot 100% and scored 4 points. Uh, he shot not only 100% from the field, but 100% from the free throw line. Uh,
Whoa.
yeah. So Ryan Hot Hand Bowen scored four, he averaged 4 points per game and 2 rebounds per game and a steal. I'd say that's a pretty good 8 minutes. Let's give him, you know what, for the 100% shooting stats, let's go 0.5. Impact on winning, we're gonna go 0. And personal opinion, um, 2. Uh, culture 3.5.
All right, that brings him to a 1.3. All right, next up is Eaton Thomas. He played just that 1 year, 23 games, 14 minutes a game, 3.3 points, almost 3 rebounds, almost a block, 46% from the field. Those aren't terrible stats as far as stats go. I guess we'll give him a 2. Impact on winning, I will give him a 2 as well. Personal opinion, don't really know who he is. I'll give him a 3.5. Longevity, we gave him a 1.5. And then culture, I'll give him a 4. So he gets a 2.6.
Way to go, Eaton. Okay, next is a player that we know, Sean Livingston. He went on to have a great NBA career, most notably winning championships with the Warriors. So he played for the Thunder for 2 seasons, 18 total games. Wow, okay. So not many games for 2 seasons, but he averaged 4 points, 2.6 rebounds, 1.7 assists, half a steal. Um, those stats are a 2. Impact on winning, 2. Personal opinion, I like Sean. Sean's great. He had a great career, like I mentioned. Let's go personal opinion. Let's go 5.5.
Can we go 2.5 on stats? These are a little better
Yeah.
than Eaton. Okay.
Okay, and then culture. He's probably a fine culture guy. Let's go 5.
Okay, he gets a 3.5. Next up is Kyle Weaver. He played 2 years, 68 games, 19 minutes a game, 5 points, 2.2 rebounds, 1.6 assists, almost a steal, half a block, 45% from the field, 35 from three. Those aren't too bad. I'll give him a 3.5. Impact on winning, I'm sure he had great impact. I mean, he played 19 minutes a game. He was a part of the rotation, it seems like. So I'll give him another 3.5. Personal opinion, I love Kyle, even though I don't know who he is. I'll give him a 4. And culture, I'm sure he was great. I'll give him a 4. So he gets a 3.7. Now, Mike Wilkes here, I will remind you, he's currently on our staff as a coach, if that factors into your rankings at all.
I was gonna say his name did sound familiar. I'm quickly Googling a picture of him so I can uh put a face to a name. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Jeez. When I see him on the staff, he always looks so young. You know how old he is?
Like 40, probably.
45. Wow, old guy. Old guy Mike.
Unk
Uh,
Mike.
all right, Mike. We appreciate you enough to give you a good score here. Let's see. He played 4 games for us. He averaged 4 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Uh, yeah, he averaged 15 points per game. Um,
15 minutes a game.
15 minutes per game. 15 minutes per game. Wrong column. Um, so he averaged 4 points. So not incredible. That's probably worthy of like with 1 assist and 1 rebound. Let's go zero point 0.5. Personal opinion, I really like that he's on the Thunder's coaching staff. Um, so let's go with 4.
Wait, what's the impact on win?
Sorry. Impact on winning, he can have a 1. And
These
culture,
these stats deserve a one, I think.
okay. Yeah, he can get a 1. Culture, I mean, he still seems like a good culture guy to this day. Like he seems like a really good uh yeah, like I would have never thought he was older than 40. No way. Anyway, culture guy, let's go 5. Go Mike.
He gets a 2.4. Okay, Kevin Ollie is our last guy. 25 games, just that one season, 10 and a half minutes, 2 points, one rebound, an assist, 40%. Um, I'll give him a point 0.5 on stats. Impact on winning, one. Personal opinion, I like Kevin. He was UConn's head coach for a while. There were talks of him being hired as the Thunder's coach for a little bit during one or both of our coaching changes.
Yeah.
Um, I saw pictures of him on social media the other day attending Thunder practice. So he's still a friend of the Thunder at the very least. I don't know. I don't think he's on staff or anything, but um, he seems great. I'll give him a 6. And then we gave him a 1.5 on longevity. Culture, I mean, I'm sure he's a great culture guy if he's the kind of guy that we want to come hang out at practice and stuff like that. So I'll give him a 6 there as well. So he gets a 3 total. Um, so let's see. Let's factor in all these guys with the guys we've already ranked. See how they see how they fall. Nobody too high on our rankings from today. For some reason, we have double. Oh, let's fix it. We got double everybody. Here, you talk amongst yourself while we have some technical difficulty.
Yeah. So, we are almost done with this player ranking series, which is really fun. If you guys make it to the end of the episode and watch our player ranking series, we're really excited because, we have done it. This is our only segment that we have done every single time. So that's something special about it. You know, 15 player rankings into this for 15 of the seasons. And so we're doing the 16th um, season coming up on episode 16. So that'll be
Boom.
that'll be really fun. And I think that this will be a good list of reference for Thunder historians.
Exactly. So for the guys we ranked today, we have Kyle Weaver at 82nd. So he is the best player we ranked today. He is between Perry Jones and Markieff Morris. Sean Livingston's at 86 between DJ White and Usman Zhang. Kevin Ollie at 100 between DeAndre Liggins and Adam Flagler. Eaton Thomas at 111 between Daniel Orton and Jared Butler. Mike Wilkes at 119 between Byron Mullins and Scotty Hobson. And then Ryan Bowen at 139 between Dante Grantham and Tyler Davis, followed by Mr. Antonio Anderson at 141. So, like Keaton was saying, we just have our 2009 guys to rank next episode, and then we'll be finished. So I'm excited to have the full list. We'll tweet it out or something just to see what you guys think about it, all our rankings, and it'll be fun to have that going forward. Um, so yeah, we've enjoyed doing this. We've enjoyed talking ball today on this episode, and we covered a lot of ground today, and we appreciate your support and your feedback. So please check us out on Twitter and engage with our tweets and give us a follow. Share our podcast with your friends and let us know what you want to see in the future. And drop a like, a comment, a subscription, whatever you feel led to be doing. So we will talk to you later. We hope we'll get some good injury news on some of the fellows pretty soon. And thunder up. Next time we'll be recapping a game. It'll be a regular season game.
Boom.
Boom. Bye bye.